Yo, JD here, Limitless, and as you can see, we are back on F1 2021 as always. And before I start this video, I want to give another special shout out to some new extra rotation members. So we've got Brian, another Brian Thompson, Wildson Dantes, Andre Raz, Wonderboy, Mad Rabbit, Sigil Yon, Samarison, who's rejoined, Jack Smith, Fly with Stefan, and Eggert. Thank you so much for joining the Extra Rotation Club. If you do join that, click that YouTube join button. You will get priority access to lobbies such as this, along with upgraded setups, permanent discount one-to-one coaching, and you'll get to practice with me for league racing on all platforms. So here, we are back on Xbox. Been a fair while since I've been in this one. We're at Austria, Red Bull Ring, which we don't do too often. So as we've got 5 lights here going out now. TCP, Coutinho, BRT Stonks, Hamilton, some regular faces in here. Some very, very good drivers as usual. And we're just going to try and navigate our way through this first lap very efficiently, starting on the alternate strategy. Be a little bit forced out onto the grass there, but managing just to get on the inside. What do we do here? Do we go aggressive or cautious? Let's see what happens. Normally, a lot of people get pinned to the outside. So we've gone from P20 up into P17 and just gone side by side with, I think, FTR Oliver there. Staying on the inside here. And look at this. This is absolute carnage. Thankfully, these guys ghosted. And now we're into P15. So not a bad start so far. Chosen this track because I haven't done it for a long time, and I really like to do tracks that I'm a little bit rusty on. And you can see someone else has just completely stopped dead going through into that corner, and so far so good. So I was actually pretty happy with this. But if you look at this here, he just completely goes through his car. But coming across the line after that good first lap, we finished the race, and the nod of disapproval. Once again, this is just something that always happens. So, restarting the race seems to be when you're the host. Sometimes when you finish the first lap, it just ends the race, which has been a glitch for the last, well, since the beginning of the game. So we're going to try it once again. Let everyone go ahead. It's his first corner. AXR Ollie has fallen asleep. He's still asleep after what happened. Not had enough Red Bulls on this occasion. But coming up here, managed to get a nice exit and no car crashes so far, which is very, very surprising. So let's see. We're going to go down the inside of this Ferrari here. We're going to let him just steamroll into the back. And do people get pinned on this outside? So up into P18. Really getting a good launch off this corner. Now up into P17, which is so pretty good start so far here. Just planting ourselves down the inside. Don't really want to be on the outside. And look at this. We're up into P10. So such a good P8 now. So what a start we've had. And too good to be true. We had such a good start until then. But as usual, we're going to be showing you the full race. And the reason why I always encourage people, if you want to get better at anything, not even just the F1 game, you have to persist, you have to develop a lot of patience, and I don't even know what is going on there. It's just absolutely nuts. So after that amazing start by just navigating through the carnage, and also, to be fair, I have no idea what's going on there. Absolute carnage. After navigating through that carnage, we got a bit lucky by ghosting through some cars, but then another guy just decided that, nah, don't want to be overtaken. So now we're behind BRT Sonks. As I said, we've got a lot of rapid people in here. Speaking of rapid Tomato up in P14, just in the name itself. We always seem to have very, very fast people join these lobbies. As I said, if you're a YouTube member, you will be getting a priority access invite if you are online at the time. I usually ping in my Discord about 2 hours before when I do an open lobby. But this is an open lobby. Anyone can join. It's just no guarantee because it does fill up very, very quickly. And whilst you're watching this video, I'm actually on holiday, so I'm not doing any open lobbies this week, but from the 23rd onwards I should be back to doing open lobbies very, very regularly. So we set the fastest lap of the race. The comeback is now well and truly on, and it seems that barrier just seems to be like a magnet for people at the moment on the exit of that turn 1. And yes, I will be moving the map. This was quite a while ago actually, so I hadn't moved it at this point. We'll be moving it above the webcam so it's easier to see. But I am quite a way behind the leader at this stage, and even without the minimap, you should be able to guess that by the spin we had on the first lap. So quite a bit of recovery that we need to do here, as we've got Coutinho, I think, who's gone out there, or someone else it might have been, as Ollie is now finally retired. It's falling asleep again. This guy just loves to park up and go to sleep, apparently. I don't know what is going on with him here. As you can see, the leader's already crossed the line, so we are quite a way behind. So a lot of work to do. Setting another fastest lap of the race on the medium tyre as well. So definitely showing we do have the pace. Really, really don't enjoy that turn 1. It's just such an awkward corner. It's a corner that you really do need to take a risk on, but it can really, very easily spin you out. As BSC Stonks is going out wide here. We both have the DRS on Rapid Tomato, as I think Rapid Tomato actually has the DRS on the car up ahead of him. So Stonks, as we saw from my league race, someone who definitely likes to fight quite a lot. And this was actually before I did my manipulated league race. If you haven't checked out that video, really encourage you to do that, because it certainly does not disappoint towards the end of that race here. So I know being behind Stonks, he's going to probably fight these positions quite hard. So you can see maintaining a decent level with the battery, but ideally really want to get past Tomato as fast as possible, because he's lost the DRS to the cars up ahead of him now. So Stonks is actually overtaking him here, which I personally probably would have waited until the exit of turn 1, because as you're about to see, Rapid Tomato just gets the DRS back, because the detection point is straight on the exit turn 1, and I think he's just going to completely re-overtake him. So sometimes it's actually just worth holding back a little bit, but then Stonks then gets the DRS on the exit, so just interchanging. And again, this is only really just costing us time, but of course this is not a league race, so it's not that serious. But I always like to try and treat these races as a practice for a league race in terms of where you overtake, where it's most beneficial. And this is what I really say to people a lot in my one-to-one coaching sessions I have with them. So coming through into here, I saw this is an opportunity. Gets a pretty poor exit, so we're going to try and just carry that momentum around the outside. And turning into here, unfortunately he comes off worse, and I really was not expecting him to try and stick his nose down here. I think it's always a pretty dangerous thing to do. So now, if that was a league race, I probably would have left a little bit of room, so apologies to him, but I don't think it was worth him really sticking it down the inside there. I don't think there's really that much to gain. So we're going to overtake Stonks here and getting a lot of momentum whilst we do that overtake. Trying to get a really good exit of this corner, because we're not going to get the DRS on the exit. So we're having to use a bit of the battery here just to make sure he doesn't return the favour, which I know he typically likes to do. So managing to maintain this position, and now we're comfortably within the DRS zone of the cars going up ahead of us. So far, a pretty decent comeback, but we're still not even in the top 10 yet. So we lost a lot of time from that first lap. I think we lost quite close to almost like 10 seconds or something like that. So carry through into here, see we're carrying quite a bit more speed from Funky Wheat here. So come through into here now, just making sure Stonks doesn't overtake us. But you've got to be patient, try to make sure we get a really nice exit coming up here, avoiding the curb, because sometimes it could be very, very unstable. And now we're going to be using the ERS now, as conveniently he actually disconnects, so making it a much easier pass. It's coming through into this corner, making sure you really get a good exit off here, because Stonks is going to have the DRS activated behind, but once again, we get a very, very nice exit. Being quite aggressive with the battery for once, because I really need to make sure I get within the DRS zone of FRT ACOS up ahead, who again, very, very good driver, regular league racer himself. And we've got a guy called HSR Storm. So now we're getting towards the top end of the grid, where all the fast people normally start to make their way to the front. So you can see again, we're on the absolute limits of the detection point, but I think we got within it by 1,000th as these guys actually decide to pit, and we have got the DRS. So come across the line here, we set another fastest lap of the race. We've got a guy up ahead called Kills Rapid, who says it again in his name. He is very, very rapid. But the only problem is that we have used quite a lot of the battery now, so I don't want to really keep overusing it. We're not fast enough. We're not going to be closing quick enough to get within the DRS by the end of this lap. And I really wanted to use the battery here to keep ahead of Stonks, because I felt we would just be losing too much time. And does he go for the overtake? Yes, he does. So we're not going to fight this too hard, because I just don't want to be losing that much time. So I'm not interested in overtaking him here. Now I'm down to about almost just about 10% of the battery. So really want to use Stonks now to, as you can see, if you look at the cars ahead, we haven't really lost any time, because I actually just allowed him to have the overtake. If I decided to fight that on the exit, then we'd really just be wasting each other's battery and the time as well. So my teammate is pitted, so I can't pit this up anyway. It normally takes a long time for the pit crew to kind of reschedule themselves. So you can see Stonks, because we've let it through, we're not really losing any time. If anything, we're actually gaining time still on the guys up ahead. So I'm just going to sit behind him here. Not interested in overtaking him at all at this stage. I just want to try and conserve a little bit more of the battery. So yeah, not interested in overtaking him. Hope if there was flashlights on an F1 car, I'd just be flashing him to say, not really interested in overtaking you at all. And here, once again, are we going to be doing it this time? So we are going to go around the outside, but again, I'm not interested in overtaking him really at all. So he does defend that. For me personally, I probably wouldn't have defended that much at all. Just allow each other to really carry the momentum going through into the race. So now we're coming up to another car, so we're very, very close to that DRS zone. You can see we've managed to save a little bit more of the battery. So coming through into here, what does he do? He actually decides to box. I decided to stay out because I was quite a way behind the leaders and I wanted a little bit fresher tyres, and we're quite close to this guy up ahead. As we're going to use a bit of the battery now, I'm really going to try and get within the DRS zone. And it looks like he's using a bit of battery, so he really doesn't want me to get in it. So you can see we're just constantly changing between the battery, and now we're going to get the detection point. So I'm just trying to keep the speed as much as possible, because ACOS, who's pitted for the softs, has only done a low 0.5, which isn't actually that much quicker than what we're lapping right now. So you can see we're catching this guy, but we're not going to be catching him quick enough where he's actually going to be costing us time. So I think we'll probably go for another lap once again, because since the cars have already pitted, they are going to get a slight undercut already. We might as well just go an extra lap, carry this speed, and get even fresher tyres. So that is the plan right now, hoping that this guy pits, and he does. So that's really, really good, which means we get another dose of the DRS without having to use that battery power, and now we actually take the lead of this race. So this is where it's going to be important. See, coming off the exit here, not using any of the battery, so I really want to come out the pits with as much battery power as possible. But we do have the slap bus behind, who doesn't have a penalty, who is on the soft tyres, and he's another YouTuber of mine who's a very, very fast driver himself. So if we can just try and really maintain this gap as much as we can, if we can at all, and just limit the disadvantage. You can see there's a couple of guys who've got penalties. Dedo Note, see, I think the slap boss, he started a little bit further up the grid, so he avoided this carnage. If we had another 10 seconds there, we would be probably within a chance to really, really catch him. So we're still going to be pushing as much as we can. So now we are going to go into the pits. Just carry as much speed as possible going into here, just about staying within the white lines. really taking the speed, going underneath the air marco. That's where we want to start braking and not leaving that much room on the table. So a pretty decent in-lap there overall. As you can see, Sapbus has already gone past. Some people on the softs going past as well. But we are going to have the freshest set of tyres. So now let's see what we can do coming off here, because our pace before this seemed to be very, very strong. So coming off the exit of this corner, using the battery, because I really want to get within the DRS zone of Stonks before he catches the DRS of the cars up ahead. So that is the plan right now. So the gap is 1.5 seconds, now 1.4. Can we get within this DRS zone by the end of the lap? You can see we're being super, super aggressive with the battery power. So changing my ways ever so slightly. Really trying to get it. And again, that's why I appreciate a lot of comments. Even if they're... No, I don't know. Even if they're constructive, negatively constructive, I really do try and take it on board. And we have done what we wanted to do. We have got within the DRS zone, so we had to use pretty much all of our battery. You can see all our deployments pretty much gone. But now we have got within the detection point, which was absolutely crucial, setting a double purple sector 2 and 3. So coming off the exit of here, we're going to get the DRS once again. So now we can actually recharge our battery ever so slightly again. You can see a lot of people up ahead do have a time penalty. So we're just going to try and close in while saving a bit more of the battery now. You can see Sonks is probably maybe going to try and go for this overtake here, as he likes to do. So he does go down the inside. This again is just going to slow both of these guys down. They'll just both go away their battery and quite a bit more. And we should be pretty comfortably within the DRS zone before the end of this lap. So you can see 4/10 improvement from our fastest lap so far. Managing to recoup a little bit more of that battery. Please take a shot every time I say battery as well. I can assure you, you will probably be very, very drunk by the end of this video. Coming off the exit of the last turn, we're just going to let these two battle each other. Does he go down the inside again? So yes, he does decide to overtake here, which is very interesting because it's just going to leave him very, very vulnerable on this exit. Are we going to use the battery? And you can see this guy's red light is flashing, so don't really need to be doing anything now. So he goes down the inside. Is that just going to open the door for both of us? Yes, it is. And we're going to get the DRS on the exit. So that's why sometimes being patient does work. We're trying to give the slipstream to this guy, and we didn't really need to defend with much battery. And now we've got this guy up ahead. Plan is to get within the DRS zone of him before the last sector. And with the fresher tyres, with the pace we have, we've managed to really navigate this through this field very, very efficiently so far. And you can see we're going to be pretty comfortably within the DRS zone. So using a lot more of the battery, but being very, very efficient in terms of we actually get through the field. So not requiring to use any of the battery power going through into here. Not interested in setting the fastest lap at this point. So on the exit, we're going to get another round of DRS once again. And you can see gaining quite a bit of speed in a straight line. Managing to drop the cars outside of the DRS zone from the cars behind us as well, which is also very, very beneficial. Trying to get a really good exit off here. Do we push with the battery? So yes, we actually do push with the battery, but it looks like he is using quite a bit himself. So maybe thinking about going around the outside here, trying to get the inside for the left-hander and getting a really, really good traction. So going side by side, he wants to fight this just a little bit, but with the extra grip we have, get this move done pretty nicely. And I really wanted to get a move on because I wanted to try and get within the delta of these guys up ahead. Like the guy in second place has got a 3 or 6 second penalty now, so it looks like we already are. But as usual, we will try and overtake these guys on track as much as possible, and maybe even try and still win this race. So we're going to try and push to make that happen now. However, we do have this guy behind me who is also a YouTube member, so we are going to be pushing pretty hard, but it looks like he's going to get this overtake done. But the detection point. He actually decides to stay behind because the detection point is on the exit, but we actually get a really, really good exit from this corner. So the goal was to try and break out of his DRS zone whilst not losing as much time as possible through battling, because I really wanted to try and catch these cars up ahead of us. And you can see it looks like he's got a little bit more battery power than us at this stage of the race here. So really, really going to try our best, but with so many DRS zones, it's quite easy to actually stay within it. So trying to not use any of the power going through it here. Let's see what this gap is. So it's 4.6 seconds to the cars up ahead, because they're really using all the track available here. And the gap is about 4.5 seconds. So you can see Stonks has decided to retire from this race. Getting a good exit of this corner. We'll probably have to use a little bit more of the battery once again, or actually we don't have to use it, but we are under 10%, so he'll be able to see that my red light is flashing. And you can see, because the guy up ahead does have the DRS, but we actually are in P3 in this race, but in a net P2. Leader's only 5 seconds away, but we only have one more lap, so I was going to try and do my best to get back within the 3 second mark before the end of the race. So the gap to the leader is about 4.8 seconds. Let's see what it is going towards the end of the race. And you can see we haven't been able to really shake off Dado behind us, because he's definitely a man who has good pace, but he's sticking quite nicely within that DRS zone, and he can see that we are struggling a little bit with the battery. So the gap is now 4.2 seconds. So if we could get it under 3 seconds, if the slap bus somehow gets a penalty on this last lap, then we could even end up winning this race. So trying to get a good exit, not using the battery again, trying to save it for the latter part of the lap, and the gap is now 3.9 seconds, 4 seconds here. So having a little bit of a ding dong up ahead into the lead. So now this is where we are going to be using the battery a little bit more, so we'll have a lot of deployment for the end of this race, and the gap is now 3.8 seconds. Coming through into here, let's see how much more time we can make up going towards the end of this lap. And this Dado's definitely got a lot more battery at this stage. I think you can really see that we're really struggling whilst we've had to push quite hard in this race. Coming through into this last sector, unless he picks up a penalty, the leader going for the last 3 quarters, we have brought out down that gap quite significantly. So we've done a very good comeback. The gap is 3.3 seconds. What's it going to be on the exit of here? Don't think it was going to be enough. Slapbus takes the win. 3.2 seconds in the end. We were away from the win. After that, lap 1, I think was a pretty good effort after that. So I really hope you enjoyed that full race. Hopefully you learned some things from that as well. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. Really does mean a lot to me. Make sure you join the YouTube membership to get access to these lobbies, which from the 23rd or 24th of January, I'll be back to doing many more open lobbies on a much more regular basis as well. So hope you're having a great 2022 so far, and I will be catching you very soon. Peace.